Welcome to Flat Earth Debate Live. I'm your host, Nathan Oakley, and if you are new to this channel, or you've not done so already, then be sure to subscribe. Hit the bell notification icon and join button if you'd like to become a Nathan Oakley 1980 channel member and keep up to date with the Flat Earth Debate. If you would like to support the channel, there is a super chat that runs alongside each of these shows while they are live, and there's also a Ko-Fi, Patreon, crypto and thanks button in the info box below the video. Most importantly, if you'd like to join the discussion, simply mute the page you are currently watching. Then click the link in the info box below this video to join the panel and express your views on the nature of Earth. If you do join, please don't swear. If you do, you'll be ejected. And if you are, please don't try to rejoin the stream using sock accounts. You'll be warmly welcome back on the next stream. Please also share the show on social media. Sharing the show obviously increases the live audience, but this in turn increases the chances of a more diverse panel, so please share the show on Facebook and X. Now we are joined by Refracted Curvature, Adam, Neil, Chocolate, Sensual, and a whole bunch of people in the Politics Discord server. So welcome one and all.
How are you?
Hey,
I'm all right.
good afternoon. Welcome, everyone.
We've got a lot of bloodthirsty flatties in the politics server today, and lots of timid globe believers that don't want to pipe up. Very amusing to listen to. Not as much carnage as typically when I join politics.
How are you going to explain how the elevation angle of the sun stays above the horizontal plane of reference for 24 hours?
I wouldn't.
Yeah.
I'd just welcome the person asking me to flat Earth and get on with my day. Quite interesting psychologically recently because it holds a mirror up to the emotional stress and pain of globe believers and the necessity to find or sort out cope in the form of things like TFE. And I've been saying it for the last month, maybe, since they actually did it. This isn't for flatties, not to confirm or deny anything, right? There's a small cult that's been led astray by people like Jaron about azimuthal equidistant projections that they knew full well weren't the real world anyway. Nevertheless, aside from that, this doesn't affect a flat Earth in any way, shape or form. It doesn't affect how it's measured. It doesn't affect how the globe's created from those measurements. It means very little. But what you do notice is all the people on the globe side or anti-flat Earth side that are seeking cope from it, which kind of makes me reminisce about coming to flat Earth initially and feeling, uncertain. And that uncertainty you assume is exclusive to being a flatty because you're into something new, whereas in reality that's not the case. Anti-flat earthers suffer the same exact feelings and also need their confirmation bias given to them. It's just interesting to know that they feel as anti-flat earthers like we felt when we first got here, but that feeling never dissipates for them, hence they become rage filled. The uncertainty.
It must be frustrating.
Go on.
It must be frustrating to have such faith in your authorities, and your authorities leave you lacking in answers and explanations.
No, what's frustrating is the top flat earther for the past, I don't know how many years, is now live streaming while Nathan is doing a show, live streaming SpaceX rocket launches. Well done, Jaron Campanella.
What's new? That's what I always did. In the last 5 years, we've been pointing out that if you argue for a globe, essentially you're highlighting the globe to anybody. If you ask them how a globe doesn't work, you're doing the same thing. And we've been hypercritical of our flat Earth counterparts for doing so. Now, if you rewind 10 years, Jaron's origins are in looking at the ISS 24-hour feed. Well, what's that achieving?
Yeah, but now he's on the other side.
It doesn't matter which side he is. That's the point. What gets presented is what gets presented. The belief, whether you know it or not from Jaron, doesn't matter. Let's say you turn up tomorrow and you have no idea about anything that's transpired in the last 6 weeks. None. You just turn up and see what he's presenting. He's talking like he always talks about stuff he always talks about, and what's on screen's on screen. So how is it any different to what he's been doing for 10 years? There isn't any.
I see what you're saying. I know what you're saying now. He's always been promoting the globe. Yeah,
well, in effect, yes. If you're constantly presenting pictures of a globe and asking how the globe doesn't work, then the mindset of the person who's coming for or against is to talk about that globe, isn't it? Now, in the last couple of years, I've been saying move forward. In the last couple of years, I've been saying move forward on the front foot as a flatty and say Earth's measured flat. Don't bring up the globe. What does it serve you to do so? It's not your position. If someone wants to believe in a globe, that's up to them.
So yeah, I was just saying. Well, then you got to charge with the same thing. Then whoever is not leading with their front foot forward, technically, then is constantly bringing up the globe.
Yeah, but it doesn't make any difference. So in the same way I detached myself from them when they were doing that as flatties, now they're just not doing it as flatties. Well, that's a bonus. But I don't have to concern myself with what they're doing. In the same way I don't need to concern myself with what ghost hunters do. I don't care what the etheric bunch of idiots that led flatties astray to only say they're not flatties anymore. It doesn't make any difference to me. Earth's measured flat. They'll carry on doing what they've done because they're creatures of habit.
Well, see, the thing is, they've been trained that way, to argue that way, because that's the way it was argued throughout history. And that's how, when you look into the past, it seems like they're trying to prove it's not a globe.
Exactly.
We're going to do this observation and it'll show that it's not a globe,
Yeah. Look
what?
at Robotham. He's showing how it isn't curved. Yeah? Bedford level experiment, which it isn't. How curved isn't the surface? That's what they're doing. So, no. What do we practically apply? Are we ever going to take that Bedford level and put it into practical application? No. What's the tools using? Levels, referencing a horizontal plane. So the process itself proves a flat Earth, but we're asking about whether or not the process that proves a flat Earth can demonstrate that there isn't curvature. It's like you're introducing the aspect of curvature to deny it and invite your opponent to explain why something hasn't occurred. They can blame refraction, but for the fact that you didn't just start with the process that you would need to determine if there's a drop from horizontal, that would be the plane of reference you'll use to make this assertion, which proves Earth's flat. You can stop there, but they didn't. They faltered. Now, for me, Geron's a useful idiot like Robotham was in that regard.
Yeah, the idea that you can say we expect to see this thing, but we don't, is to invite scientific inquiry or the appearance thereof.
Yep. Why don't we see curve? They asked. Why are you asking that? How are you going to describe curve if the opponent puts it to you? What, with respect to the drop from surface level? You're going to need a surface level for that. What are you talking about? I don't need to engage in this anymore.
No, that's what that guy yesterday was doing with that supposed line that they were building in the sand. He was talking about how much drop there should be, that it's not going to be there. Couldn't understand any of that. Why would you do that?
Yeah, drop from what? The horizontal plane of reference. Drop from an overall flat Earth. Yeah, so we need a flat Earth for that. Moving on with my day. Oh, what? You need to tell me how your zealot belief in a globe is true because you can describe how surface level can have a calculable drop below it. How interesting for you, you fantasist. I don't care, Earth's measured flat. For your example, to say that it's got a curve dropping away from surface level. You measured Earth flat to make that assertion. Getting on with my day. What's that? Grabbing my shoulder. I must accept that there's a globe because it buggers up your consensus view. And if you don't have complete consensus, it makes you lose sleep. I don't care, Earth's measured flat. You need it to be flat to make your assertion and make me believe in it like you do.
Yeah, that's fine until a flat earther starts doing it. Then you got to question what's going on.
Hey, Nathan, I have a question. Is where surface level appears to meet the sky below surface level?
You're describing a horizontal reference point in terms of the horizon, and you're asking, in essence, is the horizon below surface level? No, it isn't. Mathematically, a horizon called Earth curve is depicted in orthographic view below surface level, which must be measured to describe drop from and give you height of eye above and parallel with. So no, the horizon, point where surface level meets the sky, is definitely not below surface level. That's absurd.
yeah, it's kind of in the question, isn't it? Something isn't below itself. That's insanity.
It is in earth curve maths, though. You violate the principle of the surface level you would be measuring to assert that there is a geometric physical sphere edge horizon below surface level in an orthographic Muppet view.
Well, really, they don't have a horizon. They believe in a geometric tangible obstruction, or they're supposed to. They deny it all the time. There is no horizon for them.
Yeah, we've unpicked our way through all of the methodologies to assert, by way of measuring a flat Earth, how Earth is a sphere. Now that we've done that, we're past it. I don't care anymore. Because anything that gets put to me will become a flat Earth proof. All roads lead to a flat Earth. What is there to discuss? It's not up for contention anymore. It's not in contention anymore, I should say. It's not up for discussion. It's not a debate. Did you want to add something?
So many people in the call, no one's talking.
Stunned silence.
Are these bots?
I don't know. XEL. I don't know who they are.
And the Globers are just a bit shy today, that's all.
Let me give a question. Let me give a question to
Let's start a little
Refracted.
debate.
Hold on, Neil. Go ahead. XE. Is it XEI or XEL?
XEL. You know what I mean? You could call me Zell for like long. All right.
Okie dokie.
Let's start a debate, man, like about some shit. Like, I mean, my bad. Let's start a debate about some stuff real quick. Anybody got any ideas?
We're in a flat Earth debate server, and the majority of the Western world believes that they're on a sphere that's been created with the flat Earth measurements that we actually measure on Earth. So, I mean, that's really...
Yeah, but I don't think I want to debate with you about flat Earth. You know why?
Why?
You don't have flat Earth room?
Because, like, it's just like, I know you know too much, and we're gonna go into a lot of details, like, that I'll have to do a lot of research on right now. And I don't want to do a lot of research right now. So
you mean
I don't think I want to debate about it.
I see. So
that.
you mean you've joined a flat Earth room, but
I've had these debates before.
Sure. You're in a flat Earth room, but you don't want to debate somebody who clearly knows a fair bit about the subject because you might, embarrass yourself without being rude.
It's not embarrassing. It's just going to be a lot of time consumption, like
Smart
a lot.
choice.
So rather than going into it with the idea of a debate, why don't you ask a question and try to learn something?
All right, let me
There
ask a
you
question.
go.
Are you Scottish or Irish?
Yeah, I was thinking the same thing.
What's the shape of the Earth?
I'd normally hate the fact that someone had done that, but you've got a wonderful sounding voice, madam. So,
Thank you.
fair play to him.
Wait, me?
Anyway,
Were you talking about my voice, right? Or are you talking
Hell
about
no. Zell.
That tone is freaking.
No, bro. They're not
Speak
talking
on.
about you, bro.
All right, let me think about something we could debate about. Like,
The fantastic
you're in a
sounding
flat
woman was
Earth room
right.
unless it's anything to do with the Earth.
actually, all right, let me ask you this. Are you a flat earther? Let me get actually serious for a second.
You can call me that if you like.
This guy called me Zell, lazy boy. Nah, man, I'm just
There's lots and lots
I
of
am
them in
chill.
here.
I'm just a chill guy. But so I could call you a flat earther, right?
Oh my god.
If I could call you a flat earther, does that mean that you believe the globe is not a sphere, right?
Makes no sense as a question or a statement.
What?
What on earth have I just fucking heard?
No,
Big
because
sense
he
way.
said I can call him that. I want to make sure we're on the same page really quick.
Sure. Being called a flat earther doesn't mean that I don't call sphere spherical, because that makes no sense. Spheres are spherical.
No, I'm saying,
that's what they
do
are.
you think that the Earth is a spherical thing?
No, definitely not. So in order for you to presumably believe in that, you must measure Earth flat to create that paradigm of a sphere.
Wait, let me ask you this. When you do this, do you take into account perception? Like, do you do that? Like your perception?
Non-responsive.
Yeah, so
Non-responsive, young man.
So to create the sphere, we have to measure a flat Earth. Measurements aren't anything to do with what I perceive. They're just measurements.
Right. I mean, the observer is important, but I'll say this.
Not really. We're not doing double slit measurements. They're just measurements.
Well, I'm saying the observer is important because perception can be changed, through a lens.
So if I look at like a sextant, let's say we're measuring an angle to something, and I hold it and say 40 degrees, and then pass it to next man, and he looks at it and goes 40 degrees, and the next man holds it and goes 40 degrees. Do you think there's going to be a guy in the line that goes, actually, no, 70 degrees?
Yeah, it depends on what type of glasses. Is he wearing glasses?
Oh my God.
See what I'm saying? Anyways, okay, sure. But let me stop trolling. Here's my question, right? So you think the Earth is flat, right?
No, I know it's flat. So it's measured flat.
We observe it to be flat.
Yeah,
I know it actually says we observe it to be flat.
Measured flat.
You observe the Earth to be flat.
Just let me answer without talking through the response. Okay? No, I don't think it's flat. I know it's flat because it's measured flat. Further to that, you haven't responded to this, so I'll repeat it. The globe you believe in was created using those measurements. Not my perception. The measurements of Earth that are flat are used to create the globe you believe in. My measurements are measurements of Earth that are flat. That doesn't require me thinking it or believing it. Hope that's clear.
And now when you say your measurements, right?
They could be my measurements.
Are you doing these tests yourself, or are you getting it from someone else? Or?
No, I can measure Earth flat very easily.
Really?
Yeah. So can you.
Yeah, and how'd you do that? Did you do it, or are you saying you could do it?
I've done it. You could do it. You could do it by measuring latitude. Do you know what latitude is?
Yeah, latitude, longitude. Yeah.
Just latitude. Do you know what latitude is?
No, I'm saying I know what it is.
What is it?
It's a measurement from up to down. Okay.
No. It's more specific. You don't know what latitude
North to
is.
south.
No. So you don't know what latitude is.
All right. East to west.
You keep guessing or just concede your ignorance in this regard. Hold on, John, or whoever it is from G+.
All right. Can you inform me what latitude is? My bad.
Polaris measurement, North Star. So your angle to it with respect to a horizontal plane of reference. That's the line along the baseline, and then the line up to Polaris. That's an angle. That angle is you measuring Earth. I haven't finished my statement, sir. Did you want to answer for me when you made 5 attempts that were wrong? Go ahead.
My bad. I'm not trying to enter. I was looking at the picture.
You did. Just shut up.
Thinking out loud.
You did. Just shut up.
Yeah, you can go ahead.
Yeah, I can, because I was talking till you interrupted and then started stuttering about what you weren't doing. Sit down, shut up while I talk. Then I won't have to tell you off. Now you're talking again. I'm having to tell you off for interrupting. Shut up. Your 5 attempts I tolerated in spite of them all being wrong, didn't I? Now you can shut up while I tell you what you don't know. That's a latitude measurement with respect to a horizontal plane of reference. That's one line of the angle to Polaris. For latitude measurement, you require Earth be a flat plane to get that angle. Earth is measured flat for latitude. You could measure it. I have measured it. Earth is measured flat.
Wow, my bad, bro. I believe you.
It's not about believing me. It's a measurement. You don't need to believe in how things get measured.
No, I'm
just
not.
need to know what they are.
What you said.
Hey, you've only just heard it this second, but your phraseology of "I believe you," no, don't believe me. Just go out and buy a sextant and measure latitude so you know where you are. That's latitude. It's a measurement. You either know how to do it or you don't.
I never claimed that I thought the Earth was round. By the way, I never said that.
When you say round, do you mean like a penny?
No, I meant a sphere. I never claimed.
There you go.
That was it.
Go ahead, John. Hold on 1 second, sir. Go ahead, John.
Yeah, you don't need to buy a sextant. You can use the old Eratosthenes method of measuring Earth flat with a simple stick and a shadow and the angle it forms along a flat surface.
Yeah, man, let's take it back to 800 BC real quick.
Sure. He's just saying that it's the same method. You're just measuring an elevation angle like Eratosthenes did. That's an elevation angle measurement.
Wait a second.
Can
I
you tell
thought
me
he
why the
proved it
North
wrong.
Star
Neil,
is so
stop.
important?
Neil, just understand what's happening. Don't just blurt out stuff. You go ahead. Sorry about that, Zell.
Wait, me?
Someone interrupted you. I was telling them off.
I was just I was gonna say can you tell me why the North Stars, the angle from the North Star is so important to understanding the
Yeah,
shape of the planet?
Sure. It doesn't explain the shape. You're measuring Earth flat to acquire latitude. It's the latitude system. You said you're aware of it. That's why it's important, because it forms that system. But that system is formed by measuring Earth flat. So in terms of the shape of the Earth, no. The aspect of the surface that's measured is flat for an angle. That's not shape, that's an aspect.
Right. So that addresses like one point, like see, I wish I was like locked in so I can actually debate this, but I'm not.
It's not a debate. I'm
It's not
sorry,
even a
sir.
debate, it's an understanding.
A measurement. There's nothing
Yeah, I'm
to
saying so I
argue.
could debate it, but I can't.
There's no debate, son.
Yeah,
I can't debate it right now.
No one can. When it
Shut
comes
up.
to, it's not. When it comes to measuring things, it's not really a debate subject. It's not if this or that. It's measured flat. So it's not that if you knew better, you could debate it. There is no debating how Earth is measured. That's how it's measured. Furthermore, if you deny that it's measured flat, then you're going to deny the base principles that create the globe paradigm, because those calculations are based on Earth measurements, and the Earth measurements are flat. So, for example, latitude again. You understand that latitude wrapped around a sphere shape for you to believe in that sphere. Well, that latitude grid is the same one that's measured flat with angles off a flat surface. It's wrapped around a spherical surface for you to believe in that spherical surface being the world. It's just the world that's actually measured to create those paradigms, the calculations, the maths of a sphere are flat. The Earth measurements are flat because Earth is flat.
I think it's a matter of perspective, but I'm gonna say this. I think we're in a firmament, you know what I mean? Like the Bible said. That makes sense.
Alrighty then.
I don't like that at all. What was your question for me, Neil?
I think that's it.
I get it.
That was it. He thinks he's in a firmament.
Yeah, like I think if you, when they say the Earth is round, like does the sky even count? Like does the atmosphere even count? Like I think your test works in both systems as flat because like what you're referencing it to is probably the land and shit, not the sky. So
I don't know, you mentioned oxymoronic atmosphere though, and then said that something could work in two systems. I don't really know what you're talking about.
okay, so you know when they say the Earth is round, right? They're talking about how it looks from when you're outside, like you're in space, and it looks around, like not because of just the land and like just the water, right? Or am I wrong?
Yeah, they suggest that.
All right, never mind. You know, I'm gonna just shut up. Wait, I sound stupid right now.
No, but you're right. They suggest that you can travel out to an area that's 10 to the minus 17 torr. That's a vacuum called outer space, and observe the Earth as a sphere from space. Now, you're not observing it from that area, but that area itself, the sky vacuum. When you said, I'll just shut up, did you mean what I'll do is keep my mic open and nod along while I'm talking? Because you're doing it now, you're still interrupting me. Do I need to tell you off a second time? Shut your mic and listen to what I'm saying, rather than nodding along, cutting up my mic for my live audience. Thank you. There's 100 people listening. Actually, sir, let's just be blunt. I'm not talking to you at all. You are inconsequential to me. The 104 people that are listening to my live stream, they're the ones I'm talking to. So they don't need to hear you nodding along. Just close your mic and listen. The sky is not a vacuum. If the air we were breathing was next to a 10 to the minus 17 tall vacuum, it would dissipate into it instantly and we'd all be dead. Furthermore, we'd have never developed gas pressure in the first place. First particle of gas in that fantasy world of a sphere in a vacuum would have the gas leaving the surface and never returning. Gas-filled space, it's a law of nature. It's called the second law of thermodynamics. Therefore, there is no oxymoronic sphere-shaped air called atmosphere, atmo being air, sphere being a shape that gases don't arbitrarily take. They fill the volume available to them. It's a law of nature. So there is no vacuum of space to look back at Earth as a sphere. Anybody who claims to have looked back at Earth as a sphere from a sky vacuum are liars. Shout out to Duncan McLeod. This is painful, he says from the super chat. I don't know, I'm having fun. He's quite calm. The fact that he's not getting really irate with me is good. Thank you for the super chat.
Yeah, I don't believe in that vacuum stuff either, because the sun has its own atmosphere too. By the way, so like you really can't look from a vacuum perspective.
Try that once more then. Atmo means air. Sphere is a shape that gases don't take arbitrarily. Gases take the shape of their containment. Now the sun, you have no idea what the sun is. I don't either. I'm not going to profess to, but we don't know what that is. So to say it's got an oxymoronic sphere-shaped air around it is just not the case. Definitely not. If it was, it would be a violation of natural law also. Air doesn't take sphere shapes. There is no such thing as atmosphere. We are breathing.
He wandered into space.
But he was right in one regard. Sorry, go ahead.
Well, the sun has its own atmos. So I call it a sphere because my eyes are a sphere. So
atmo means air. You're saying the sun has its own air and it's sphere shaped. Yeah, that would be a same violation of natural law, right? Gases don't just take sphere shapes. They fill whatever space
your eyeballs are spheres.
Let's just try that again. Gases fill whatever shape container they have available to them. That's what gases do. They disperse into the volume available. It's a law of nature. So no, the sun is not atmo. I don't know what it is or isn't, and neither do you. Second time.
I also call my car a sphere because my eyeballs are spheres.
Well, it's kind of funny that he wandered into space, and after he accepted that it's measured flat, right? But then he tried to say, well, if we can change our perspective and move us back into space, maybe that straight horizontal segment that we just measured is actually part of a curve, and it's just we're zoomed in so far that it just seems curved or flat.
Sure.
No, I'm just saying it's a matter of perspective. Like that's my whole entire thing. But I hear you out.
Okay.
Yeah.
What's that? Hold on. We've said it a
thing.
couple of times, and it didn't make sense to me the first couple of times. But that's fine if that's
Literally
how
or
you view it. What do you
figuratively?
mean? Whoever's interrupting, just chill. What do you mean? It's a matter of perspective. What's perspective, according to you?
Well, your eyes are round. That's why we see the universe in spherical shapes. Okay, that's my opinion.
No, it isn't. And no, we don't. Number one, no, we don't see the universe in a spherical shape. That's a misconception. We measure angles to the stars and we derive a system from the latitude grid that's concentric flat circles. Now, the way that's constructed is with the angles decreasing as you back away from that star. But that's an angle measurement. So the representation mathematically is like a protractor wrapped around you. Like the star above you is at 90 and the one at the horizon 0. That's a protractor wrapped around you to measure these things. But the star at 0 isn't smashing into the horizon now, is it? So no, we don't see a spherical view of the world. Quite the contrary. The fact that we measure a parallel sky and ground is what gives us the ability to represent it with angles and then call it a hemisphere. But we absolutely, without question, do not observe the sky as spherical. No, we don't. And it's not a question of perspective. We don't know what they are. Perspectives describing things getting smaller into the distance, a limitation to angular resolution. Again, I don't know what they are, so I can't ascribe that to them. Might seem pedantic, but it's just a fact. So no, I object to this word perspective. Stuff getting smaller into the distance, reducing its angular limitation, the angular view, change, that's perspective. The stars, when we raise in altitude, that's to say get higher off surface level, they don't change. They stay exactly the same. So for someone to suggest that that's perspective, no, perspective doesn't do that. So no.
Yeah, perspective changes the whole system.
Not with the sky, it doesn't.
Yeah, it does.
No, it doesn't. If you measure an angle to a star at 10 degrees, hold on, John. If you measure a star at 10 degrees and then raise up 30,000 feet, it's still at 10 degrees. It doesn't change its angle regardless of your altitude.
But the only reason why you know it's at 10 degrees and 30,000 feet is because you're observing it first.
So it's not a matter of perspective, sir. That whole endeavour was to point out how wrong you were when you said it's a question of perspective or a matter of perspective. No, it isn't. The sky is parallel with the ground. How we measure it is with angles. You can then turn that into mathematics and then reify it into a celestial hemisphere. You can then take that hemisphere and make a second one in the south and then project PZX triangles through a sphere, Earth, essentially a glorified protractor. But in no way, shape or form was what you said correct. We don't have a perspective view of the sky. It's not spherical. That's incorrect.
Well, what you're saying means that you believe in some objective reality regardless of my eyes. Like, what are you trying to say my eyes?
That's not what I said. Those words didn't cross my lips. That's just nonsense waffle that you made up. Don't talk through me when I correct you. Those words didn't cross my lips. That was complete nonsense waffle that I didn't make as an assertion. You just made that crap up and asserted that I made that as a claim. No, I made it explicitly clear that we measure the sky with parallel, plane, and angles to it. That's what I actually said. You saying that I'm saying your eyeballs don't make it a perspective. No, I'm not saying that. Don't make up crap I haven't said if you can't comprehend what I've said or parrot it back to me. Don't just make up something else that I didn't say. Okay?
Okay.
So it's not a perspective view. So it's not a perspective view. That's what you said. I'm addressing what you said. You keep responding to me with the same crappy rebuttal that it's just perspective, according to you. And I'm saying, no, I heard it 3 times, and now I've addressed it, but you haven't responded to me addressing the crap you've spewed. It's getting irritating because you just want to move on and discuss what I've explained to overcome your rebuttal. No, the sky is not spherical. No, it's not just a perspective view. I've overcome that and described aspects of the sky and how it behaves that would preclude it from being described with perspective. That's angular limitation, something I've also covered, and you haven't in any way, shape or form responded to or acknowledged. Irritating.
Well, it's because okay.
Are you done?
Let's say
you don't need to stutter at me. If you can't comprehend what I've said or parrot it back, I've already said this as well. Then just stop. Just say, okay, I'm done. I'm clearly out of my depth. No worries. We'll move on to someone else. I don't need to hear your stuttery response back. You can't acknowledge anything I've said. I get it. Fine. You can't comprehend the words that have come out my mouth. Nathan Oakley 1980 is the YouTube channel. You can go back, listen to the live stream when it's finished rendering, and hear what I'm actually saying. Because at the moment, you aren't.
No, I am. I heard you.
What did I say to you about the sky? Why did I suggest the sky is not spherical as you said it was? Tell me why it isn't based on what I've told you then, if you have listened.
Because atmosphere can't...
No, wrong, incorrect. No, that is not correct. Stop. No, you weren't listening, sir. Clearly, as I already surmised and assessed based on your stuttery behaviour. No, I didn't say the reason the sky is not spherical is because of atmosphere. You weren't listening. So, do you want a second opportunity before I get annoyed with you to duck out based on your inability to comprehend the words coming out my mouth? Do you want to stop? Just take a step back? Done. Or do you want to interrupt me before I finish my sentence? Yeah, I'm pretty sure you want to interrupt me because presumably you're getting annoyed because I'm pointing out your ignorance and your inability to comprehend the words coming out my mouth. That might be embarrassing, so you feel the need to talk through the ends of my statements. Do you, third time, want to just take a step back, sit down and acknowledge your own ignorance, or do you want to carry on stuttering at me?
I just want to finish the sentence.
It's non-responsive. That didn't answer the question you were asked. So sit down, shut up. I'm done with you. That's non-responsive. You haven't acknowledged why the sky's not spherical. Now he's talking through me again. Belligerence in the face of me telling him to shut up. No, you didn't acknowledge why the sky's not spherical. Your assertion, your stupidity, your ignorance, on display for everyone here, was taken to the woodshed by me. Not for the fact that you couldn't interrupt it and nod along and cause the audio to cut while I educated you in your ignorance. 3 times you asserted that it's just perspective. Wrong! And when pointed out how wrong you were, you couldn't help but interrupt rather than listen. And then declare that you were listening. No, you weren't. Otherwise, you wouldn't have said it was atmosphere that was my reason. No, it wasn't. You can't listen. So now I'm telling you to sit down and shut up. And if you don't, the moderators will do it for you. Now, it'd be nice if you did it of your own volition based on me telling you, having shown you to be ignorant, therefore useless to us at this point. Yeah, you're now useless to us. So, of your own volition, can you sit down and shut up like I've told you to? Or do I have to get the moderators to shut you up?
I mean, I think I've been pretty quiet.
That's not what I asked. Can you now, of your own volition, shut up? Or do we have to actually physically shut you up now that you've been ignorant? And you're starting to annoy me.
I think it's statistically proven that I can be quiet.
Golly good. Let's see if that's proven true. Next.
That was mind-numbing. Anyway, there's always a need to go to a false dichotomy when you're discussing this topic. And a lot of times they'll say words like system or model to try to imply that they have a model and so should you. But don't ever, as a viewer, don't ever just accept that they do have a model. Get them to show it.
Yeah. And then take them to the flat Earth measurement they required for the aspect that they're showing you. They don't have an all-encompassing model of a sphere Earth in a sky vacuum with gravity and orbital motion depicted from the centre of hell. You'll never get that out of them. But what they will show you will require a flat Earth to describe it. Like on screen now, right? This depiction is for orbital motion. It's an angular representation that's derived from the PZX triangles that were discussed at the beginning of the show, curve angles. Well, that depiction is described from the centre of Earth. That's how you're moving around the sun. Who's in the centre of Earth to have this mathematical reification take place? Nobody. But you must be at the centre of Earth on a plane for the axis to work, or for the angles to work. Yeah, we're going to be in hell on a plane to believe you're on a sphere. No, you're never on a sphere when you're in orbital motion. You're in a sphere. As ludicrous as that factually is. But the reason you're in a sphere on a plane is because that's what the angle measurements must back calculate into. Into, like inside a globe. You're all idiots if you think you're on a globe. No, you're in a globe in orbital motion in the mathematics of heliocentrism. Didn't you know that? Shocking, isn't it? Yeah, Earth's measured flat for your orbits. And then you've got to believe you're in hell.
Did you forget that the new sextants have a center of the Earth button?
Center of Earth button.
Yo.
Maybe that's what the Kola Deep borehole was about. They wanted to actually try to measure the angle to the stars.
Are you taunting me? There's a whole chunk of chapter of my book that might get relinquished if we can't, wrangle P waves and S waves in the way we want them. Anyway, I opened my eyes, but my ears were not connected, says Unitox Femu. That smells beautiful. Thank you for the super chat.
Right. I don't get what's so hard about the P waves and S waves. The seismograph sits on Earth and uses a vertical, what is that called? It's like a pendulum, but it's not. It's a weighted.
The official term is waggly needle.
A what?
I was making it up. I said the official term's waggle needle.
Well, anyway, yeah, it's like it just got a pin on the end of it that just, uses the flat baseline to show the amount of movement from, the Earth in one direction or the other.
Yeah, horizontally. But then when you find the citation, they just describe it like it's just merely an axis. And then when you get further down the page, they're like, Earth's not flat, but the measurements that we take kind of are, but we have to convert them to sphere. You're like, I don't like that as a citation. Yes, they're apologising for how flat it is, but that's exactly what it is. It's not a clean citation. I've got two that I like that are apologising for how flat it's got to be measured. But now I just need one that makes it explicit, and we haven't got it yet. We'll find it.
They are telling you how flat it's measured if they're apologizing for how flat it's measured.
Yes, that's correct. Yeah. Well, we typically cite things with 3 citations. Sorry, live audience and Discord. We're talking about my book that I'm nearly finished writing. And by me writing, I mean I've had a lot of help from a lot of people. Thank you to everybody. But the point is, we've got 2 citations in regards to seismology, or P waves and S waves. And I just want a third that's explicit in terms of how Earth's measured and referenced as a horizontal plane, which it absolutely is, as opposed to 2 that say, well, yeah, we've got these flat references, but Earth's not flat. You're like, okay. I just want a third one that says it is. That's basically it, as opposed to apologising for why it isn't.
You want some heretics to say that? You're not going to find that in their, because you're never going to find a astrophysicist who says Earth is flat.
NASA say
you know
it.
I mean?
NASA say it. I've got citations from NASA about flat, non-rotating Earth. So they're out there, man. I'm not going to accept that, right? If I can cite the highest of the high in the heliocentric rhetoric of NASA, who'll say it's flat and non-rotating, end quote NASA, then I'm pretty sure I can find a seismologist who'll say it.
No, it'll say things like and as, or treated as such.
That's fine. That's fine.
That's what the apology is.
Right, shout out to Love Morgan. He says, maybe the Globers are talking AOEs from hell. Of elevation. Yeah.
I'm still not getting, how is someone apologizing for how flat they just measured it not the same as them saying it's flat?
It's just me. It's just what I want, right? It just leaves a slightly bitter taste in my mouth in that one chapter because of one citation. Now, up until this point, right, I've put hand on heart and said this is the highest quality flat Earth reference book that will be available at the point of publication. That's a bold statement. And there's just this one little niggle, right? And I've said this, I didn't want to say this on air. I would rather axe the whole chapter, like that whole chunk, than not have it. Anyway, let's just move on. I don't want to talk about this on a live show.
But this is interesting because you're doing a fallacy that Globers do where they look at your reference instead of your citation and then point to the rest of the reference and say, therefore, it's a globe.
Yeah, I get it. I just want a third. It doesn't matter. It's fine. It's all good. Let's not worry about it.
A third? They're all that.
Yeah, they were. We had 7. We pared it down to 2. Now I want one that's better. Anyway, let's move on. Thank you. Anyway, we'll figure this out. It's just yet another thing delaying the book. Anyway, we're in politics today. Last day I want to be talking about this is while we're in politics. Thank you for having us, as always, by the way, politics. Yeah, thank you for having us, as ever, politics. It's really good to be here. Excellent moderation, as always.
You're very welcome.
Yep, always welcome, mate.
But we'll be here for another, 15, maybe even 20 minutes. So if there are people in your server that did want to ask anything, feel free. If, on the other hand, you're watching this live on YouTube, hopefully one of the mods will stick a link to the politics Discord server so you can get yourself verified and actually take part in the politics server, which is much more expansive than just the Flat Earth room, although that does definitely get the most hours of participation in this server. Actually, with that in mind, when I first joined this morning, I heard somebody saying that come hook or come crook, they don't want this to be the biggest participated part of the server. Is that correct? Oh, the mods don't want to talk about it now. Fair enough.
I don't think so. I think we had a Glober in here complaining about this room. Nothing to do with your show, though.
Oh, I didn't catch that bit. It was an individual that was moaning to the politics team to say, I don't like this server. They need to be gotten rid of.
It was an individual.
I
So
see.
The,
Fair
the
enough.
higher ups, yeah, the higher ups and the admins are very happy that we're here. Bring a lot of traffic to our server. Obviously, I've got lots of other rooms, but yeah, it's usually the individual that's got a problem, and then it just delivers their unsatisfaction in the chat.
Well, that's a good point, actually. Maybe I should do that for my audience, because there's like 122 people watching who could all be taking something out of this server that they might not think is worth their time because they watch the show and get what they want out of it from that, right? Well, just as we're talking, in the politics server, there's the Happy Wife Academy running as we speak, right? Now, you can see as I scroll up that the Flat Earth room is absolutely immense. But that's not the only room in here, right? So War Room, politics itself, philosophy, the AFK room doesn't really count, although at some point the AFK room did have quite a few number of hours in it. Right, Sharia, communication, Black Heaven, Christian chat, God ain't real chat, vegan room, I don't know what that is, Agora, whatever that is, Ask the Catholics, True Conversations, you've got all sorts in here, LGBTQ trans community room, what's this one? Autism disorder room, Persian politics. There's all sorts of stuff. And I'll keep scrolling through because there's almost too many to keep naming, right? It's just the list goes on and on. And all of them have got people in, obviously, to having their little discussions. Not to demean it by calling them little, but you know what I mean. Compared to the Flat Earth chat, they are little discussions because there's so few and far between people in each of these rooms by comparison to Flat Earth. But as you can see, as I scroll through, there's something for everyone in politics, right? So hopefully one of my mods will stick a link for the 122 people that are currently watching live, and you can get yourself verified and join in one of these fantastic politics Discord server chats. Doesn't necessarily mean that you have to join and just go into the Flat Earth room, which is where I'm scrolling over now, which is enormous and is absolutely chock-a-block. Look how many people are in here. My God. Oh, wow. Okie dokie. Anyway, that's my plug for Discord. Hopefully, like I say, one of the mods will stick a link and you can get yourself verified and join the politics Discord server.
All right, thank you.
I personally haven't been in any other room but the Flat Earth room, but I can't really vouch for how good they are, but I'm sure they're fantastic.
No,
All the
they're
other
all
rooms.
chaos, mate, and under-modded. That's why we get a lot of stick, because people say we over-mod in here, but I'd say that's a good problem, because if you go in the other rooms, it's chaos.
Really? So people over-talking each other?
I've
Oh,
also
yes.
noticed whenever you go into any other room with the tag that I've got, which is Flat Earth Mod, as soon as I go in there, even if they're having a conversation on something else, I just get berated the minute they see what tag I've got. So it's kind of tricky to go into the other rooms.
Oh, to mod another room.
And not to mod, so I've only really got powers over this one. You've only got powers over the VC that you've got. So I have no powers if I go into there, but as soon as they see Flat Earth, they just decide to attack it.
Wow.
You're a big bad flat earther, Bambi.
Apparently so.
That's not Bambi.
Well, if I was going to co-opt your culture, the first thing I would need to do is destroy it.
Good point.
Yeah, it's true.
You know, like if you're going to steal our measurements, it's probably important that you tear us down so that people don't hear us complain about you stealing our measurements.
It's only now 10 years down the line that we've actually appreciated that point where we can doggedly assert that to an opponent that's using Flat Earth measurements. Stop using Flat Earth to make your bleeding globe claim. Or worse, stop using Flat Earth to say Earth isn't flat.
Yeah, we just need them to
Listen.
stop using the sky to determine the floor now.
No, it's
Thanks,
just
TFE.
Can I talk now? One time.
No one's stopping
It's
you.
me
Go
from
ahead.
earlier. I just want to say, okay, So if I look at a ball, right, and it's a sphere, right, but then I get a camera and I put a fish island on that ball, it's no longer a sphere. Okay, so you gotta understand that. But I get where you're coming from.
You are so wrong.
What are you on about?
I don't even want
It's not a perfect
Why do
sphere
we need to
anymore. when you put
understand that? What? Please explain why we need to understand. Because I don't understand.
Wait, do y'all believe in God?
A completely different subject. So are we
No,
dispensing
don't
with that
change
if
the
you put a
subject.
fish
It all
eye lens?
connects, trust.
So warping my
Would you like to read?
perception means that a ball's not a ball now? Are you serious?
No. I'm saying a ball is only a ball because you told me it was a ball. And God
No.
made you the way He did. Do you believe in God?
All right,
This is-
Zell.
Is it?
What are you
Again,
smoking, brother?
that's for a different server. I mean, no, I don't. I know there's a God. I won't get into that because we're not in that server. This is a flat
No,
Earth
I'm not
server.
going to debate about the existence of God. I just wanted to
Then
know
go
if
to a
you
God server.
did or
That's
not.
one of the other
Then go to a
channels.
God server. I've just listed a load of them that are all related to that. This isn't though. This is a flat Earth server.
No, don't worry. I want to debate about God. I'm not going to do that. I just wanted to know where your doc.
We're gonna get rid of
Can you
you
make your
soon.
point? Can you make your
Hurry
point
up.
without starting a God debate? Because I
I
didn't
won't
get
start the
your
God
original point. It didn't really make sense. Can you make your point again without the God thing?
Yeah. So let's replace God. Okay. Well, it's about objective reality versus subjective reality. Okay. And the idea is that the way you're perceiving the universe, right, is a certain way based off of measurements, which the measurements you're going based off of, right, to disprove the round Earth, because you're saying the measurements contradict. You said the measurements for the round Earth because the latitude contradicts round Earth.
Yeah, there's
right?
no empirical. There's no
that's not what I
empirical
said.
data to
No.
show.
You are saying
go ahead.
you said that already.
Hold on,
You're
Roots.
saying that if you use that
all right,
system,
now he's just going to yammer. He's asked his question, so he can't shut up now. No, that's not
wait,
what
just
I
let
said.
me finish.
I heard your question. You're saying that the measurements of Earth contradict the globe Earth. No, that's not what I said. I said the globe Earth depends on the flat Earth measurements. They depend on it. So I'm not saying it contradicts it. I'm saying the globe back engineers into flat Earth angle measurements to the stars. That's not me saying it contradicts it. That's the antithesis of what I've said to you. Very irritating.
Okay, I'm saying if we use said measurements, it proves the Earth to be flat, not round, right?
Not proof. It's a measurement.
If you use the system,
it's not trying to prove something. You're just measuring it flat. It's called a prerequisite. In other words, if you're going to make these measurements, Earth must be flat to make them. So it's not like when you make a measurement that requires Earth be flat, you go, oh, I'm proving Earth's flat. No. You require it to be so, or it wouldn't be the measurement that you're making. So you're positioning it like we're proving something when we make a measurement that is a prerequisite of a flat Earth to be made as a measurement. No, that's just how the measurement's made. Earth must be flat for it to be an angle in the case of latitude, the single example I've given you, though, thus far. But that was given you to explain how the sphere Earth is calculable from those measurements. Now, after pointing that out at least twice, you've come back at me and said, so you're saying that the flat Earth measurements contradict the globe? No. They're back-engineered into the flat Earth measurements.
that's not what I said.
Now, what you said was if you put a fisheye lens on a ball, it won't be a ball anymore. What you said was utterly idiotic and had no basis of knowledge or understanding or comprehension of anything that we've debated here. It was an idiotic statement that at value was zero for anybody who heard you say it. What I described was the fundamental basis of a sphere Earth religion that has been derived from measuring Earth flat. I expanded the Western world misapprehension, the entire Western world, and indeed the rest of the surface of the known existence of the plane we dwell atop. Their known world is wrong, and I've explained why and how Earth must be measured flat for that worldview. What you did and said was if you put a fisheye lens on a ball, it won't be a ball anymore. Nothing nothing you said had any profound value whatsoever. Telling me what you're not saying is utterly irrelevant because what you have to say is stupid and insignificant and valueless, sir.
Can we respect each other's opinions? And allow us.
No. I have absolutely zero respect for you. I made that clear earlier when I told you not only do I not have any respect for you, I'm not even talking to you. I'm talking to the 140 live audience members. You're just a mouth that spews shite. I have no respect for you. You haven't earned any. No, I don't respect you. You're getting on my bleeding tits.
Why are they? What?
You're annoying. You think I've got to respect you? No, that's earned. You haven't earned any respect. Why the hell do you think you've got mandatory respect? Frankly, I want to disrespect you. I just don't want to get excluded from this server. If it was my server, you'd have a strip torn off you. I'd be telling you in no uncertain terms how much I disrespect you. Now, I'm not doing that. I'm quite conciliatory. But I'll highlight your ignorance when it comes by repeating your own stupid words back to you when you say that's not what I'm saying. No, I've heard what you're saying. I can comprehend the words coming out of your mouth. They're basic. Like you.
See, that's why I think this is a misunderstanding because you're underestimating my intelligence.
Am I underestimating your ability to stutter through a single sentence? No, I'm not. Your stuttery nature is what you are. I know what you are. I've dealt with you. You're just another blank canvas who interrupts when they're being told off. Yeah, right on cue, you started interrupting me. That's belligerence. You don't think I've met some belligerent Dunning-Kruger guy who thinks he's got mad abilities? What are you, the secret king? No, you're not, sir. You're just a dunce. That's been exhibited by the words that have come out your mouth. For example, saying that a ball won't be a ball if you look at it with a fisheye lens. That's the kind of words a dunce comes out with. Am I underestimating you or parroting back your dunce-like words? I'm not stuttering either. You are. That makes you a stuttery dunce.
Well, I thought it was implied that we know that ball is actually still a ball in reality, but that takes a little extrapolation. My bad.
Does it take a bit of extrapolation? Shut up. You're a dunce.
To be fair, bro.
You want me to start? If I start over, he's going to start yelling at me again.
I'm not yelling at you. Listen to my name, sir. My name is Nathan Oakley. I'm a flat earther. I know a lot more about this subject than you do. You know that. You acknowledged it before you opened your mouth. That was the first thing that came out of your mouth, in fact. Now, I know that because I've listened to every word you've said, and right on cue while I'm summarising the words I've listened to, you're interrupting me with more words through the top of my words. Yeah, that's belligerence. A word you don't comprehend. It's the third time I've used it, though. Now, you're not paraphrasing back a single smegging word that I've said. You're telling me that that's not what you're saying. But I've pointed out that what you're saying has no value. What I'm saying, I know has value. Yeah?
Well, you're lying, though. You're ranting.
Get rid of this asshole. What a wanker. How dare you? How dare you? What a scumbag. Mute this scumbag prick. He's just called me a liar. How dare you? Nothing I've said is a lie here today. You are a dunce.
You just ranted about me.
You're a dunce. Yeah, you're a dunce. That's not a lie. That's a demonstrable fact while you chant through me. You are a dunce. I exampled an example of you being a dunce with balls not being balls because of fisheye lenses. Dunce. Now you want to call me a liar? How dare you?
What does dunce mean?
Shut up. Shut up. I'm done with this dunce. He offered no value. I'm done with him. Dunce.
Yeah, Zal, come back at another time. This is not the time for you, I don't think, at the minute. If you come back at another time and ask some questions, the guys will answer and help you with whatever you're struggling with.
Yeah, professionals are on standby to help you deal with your pain.
I've got slobber nurses that can mop up your chin.
You're not ready for a debate yet, Zal. You're well out of your pocket here, mate.
Listen, I have the truth.
Go for the red crayons.
Hold on, let him get his last word.
Usually the truth teller never gets his credit. You know what I mean? I just have the truth. So.
You're the truth teller about fisheye lenses and balls, are you? Me, I'm talking about elevation angle measurements to Polaris to give us a latitude grid that's projected through a sphere Earth off a flat plane that orbital motion takes place from within. Those sorts of levels of comprehension and wisdom are so beyond your comprehension it's untrue. That's demonstrably factual when I call you a dunce because you say balls aren't balls when you use fisheye lenses. That's the level of your knowledge and wisdom, you utter dunce.
He did.
You just don't
spout
like
some
my
truth, though,
hypotheticals. That's
because
all.
the
I
truth
understand what's
teller
going on
is
here.
ignored. It's just he's ignoring
There's something
you.
about you and balls
That's
and
It's something about him talking through everybody. Now he's
just
decided that his belligerence will overcome everything. He's decided that in spite of him being called a dunce multiple times with examples of him being a dunce, he thinks it's his turn to hog the mic while we discuss his dunce-like nature. No, sir, we're going to disrespect you by talking about you while you're still here. That means shut up while we discuss you, you dunce. Go ahead, John, let's discuss this dunce, hopefully without his belligerent interruption again.
Well, when he said that the truth teller is never given credit or is ignored, he's right, because he's ignored everything you've said. It's all just blown past him, and he's not taking any of it in. He just doesn't understand how profound what he just said is and how it relates to what he's talking about.
Expounding about his own intelligence. Fantastic. Can't buy that type of shit.
That was a bit embarrassing.
Have they got you in a hole somewhere, Chocolate?
Oh no, the server's going to think someone's hot micing, because that's what it sounds like.
My mic's not that bad.
Yeah, it's horrendous.
The hell? I'm not even using a mic.
he's just shouting.
I think that might be
he's just
the
shouting from
issue.
6,000 miles away. My mic's picking it up.
I mean, I'm using my phone. I'm not even on a headset or anything. That's crazy. All right. Well, sorry about that.
Sounds like you're talking with your phone in your pocket.
Bambi. What's good?
Hi.
Right, give up just for now, Chocolate, please, please. Right, 5 more minutes and we're out of here. Anybody else got anything they want to discuss before we do?
Yeah, I actually want to bring up the perspective versus orthogonality, or orthographic. I'm sorry, orthographic view, because he brought up the subjective versus the objective. We have a system in place where we take those two things and combine them, and we call that the celestial sphere diagram. And we take angle measurements that we see with our eyes, and we apply them to that celestial sphere. But in actuality, it's a plane with a horizontal plane with the verticals, the GPs of stars. So he is getting lost between those two, or most people. That's where the globe is formed, is people being lost between those two descriptions, but both of them are of a flat plane.
Yeah.
So before you started your live show today, Nathan, we were talking about us in the 24/7 server have been asking the question, what is a triangle? And the guy that we were speaking to earlier is kind of a prime example of why we have to dumb these things down and start from very basic understandings and things like geometry and what an angle is. So it's been another demonstration of why we ask these very simple questions.
You're referring to me with that, buddy?
No, I wasn't referring to you. It's actually referring to Excel, or whatever his name was, Zell. He didn't understand what we were speaking about, which is why we ask simple questions like, do you know what a triangle is? Wasn't referencing you at all.
Oh, no, because I was offered that question. I was told I didn't answer it, but I was muted when I answered, so I was just making sure.
Again, so you're proving my point. We've asked lots of people this question, and I'm trying to explain why.
The gentleman who was asked that question, who seems upset by it now. What was your answer to what a triangle is?
That was Vaxi. I don't know why Vaxi suggested he would be the one being asked that. Go ahead, Vaxi.
Oh no, it's just a picture they sent. It had two triangles and one triangle, the baseline wasn't connecting all the way to the corner, so that's not a triangle because the lines aren't touching. And the other triangle, one of the sides was concave, not a triangle. It was just they were just trolling me with it. It's fine.
No, they're not. They're not trolling you. They're asking it legitimately. They're saying if you've got curved lines meeting at a vertex, it's not a vertex, so it's not an angle. If you've got a missing line, they're saying that's not a triangle. Now, without seeing the diagram, I might question that, right? And then they've got two actual triangles, one that's got a 90-degree angle, right? Fine. Well, they're saying which ones are and which ones aren't triangles. Well, curved lines don't make triangles, so that one definitely isn't. So then, at that point, further to that, from what Jedi explained in the pre-show, they then ask them how you'd acquire an elevation angle measurement from a curved baseline. Obviously, if you've passed the IQ test, the answer is simple. You can't.
Yeah, no, I just got irritated because when they showed me that, I said, can I get the definition for a triangle? Then I got muted. But when I said, can I get the definition? Clearly that means I already know the answer because it's two of these aren't comporting with the definition. It was just BS. All because I don't agree with them about two celestial points of rotation.
What is your point about 2 points of celestial rotation?
Yeah, that sounds
that's
juicy.
just the whole reason why they were being salty with me.
Don't tell us why they're being salty. Just tell us what the debating point was. What celestial rotation points? I have no idea what you're talking about. Please expand. What do you mean?
Like I was told today that there's an equivalent to Polaris in the south.
Okay.
And if you're a flat earther that doesn't agree with that, then you're behind the times, I guess, or stupid or something to that effect. I just thought it was odd.
It's contentious, but you could accept that.
I mean, I could care less, but it's
only contentious because there isn't a specific style like Polaris. They say there is, right?
All the flat earthers in here are saying there most definitely is, and they're calling it stigma octantis, which isn't even correct.
Well, that's what they say that's there.
That's the point within the constellation that they say is the point of rotation. It's not necessarily a star, it's just a point.
Yes, which is perfectly acceptable by all, I would have thought, and I would wonder why anybody wouldn't want to accept that.
Wait, why there's not 2 points of rotation in the sky?
One more time.
I'm sorry. Wait, no, wait. Why I wouldn't accept that there's 2 points of rotation in the sky, one in the north and one in the south?
Yeah, there is.
Mm.
Do you not accept that?
I mean, yeah, I accept that we have star trails, but it's not a 1-for-1 equivalence to what's going on in the north.
No, I didn't say it was, but there's definitely two different separate systems. Those two separate systems are what get sandwiched, both with respect to a flat plane, antipodal from one another, to create what is commonly known as the celestial sphere. Were you unaware of that? Because that's how it is created.
Yeah, but my thing is, I just only call it a sphere because you're never going to see it all at once. You're only ever seeing, domes in the sky. And then when you're on the equator, you can see both ends, but it's still not a sphere either.
The ground's never going to be a sphere. But the two systems that have been used to best create navigation systems, one is North Pole centric, the other is, let's just, for the sake of argument, call it what they call it and say South Pole centric. Now, there isn't a polar point, and it's not comparable. There are distinct differences. Now, that also relates to massive distortions in the south on all the maps. Now, all of that aside, or even including, notwithstanding all of that, that's how the celestial sphere gets created.
Right, yeah, no, I get all that.
Right, so from that, they then create the globe, because they're projecting the points like you can be antipodal inside a sphere to project PZX triangles through a glorified protractor that you're standing in to put the mapping points on. But that's still two separate flat systems measured from surface level to the sky. And how they've fudged it together when you get to the south becomes very, very, very convoluted. There's lots of ambiguity and distortions in maps and such. But that doesn't change that that's what is the case in terms of how you create those two systems. Separate systems, north and south.
And also the celestial sphere is created using a little trick they like to call celestial refraction. Do you know what that is?
Yeah, we were talking about that too. Like at 15 degrees when the stars stop moving at 15 degrees per hour. When they're 15 degrees or lower above the horizon, they're not moving at 15 degrees per hour. Yeah.
Close enough, they slow down.
Right.
Yes. Right. So there is no celestial sphere. That's not measured, right? There's
Right. That's literally what I was arguing the whole time, but I was called a dumb for that. So
Yeah.
I don't know.
Just let John break it down for you, though, Vaxi. Go ahead, John.
right. There is no measured celestial sphere. It is created from the measurements into a diagram that they can use for navigation, keeping the ratio of degrees to get your nautical miles. That's all it's for. If you can't say it doesn't exist, it's a diagram. It isn't how the sky really works. It's just how we navigate the Earth.
Right. And when you get to the south, it's got a lot more problems. The north works quite neatly. In fact, it's very eloquent. The south, not so much. It's got... Oh, go ahead, whoever that is. On, whoever that was. Yeah, the south's got a lot of problems that you can point flaws at.
Yeah,
and even
I figured everybody was in agreement with that.
never.
Oh, there's long silences, then two people talking at once.
Sorry, my bad.
Well, hey, you're the one that's trying to understand this. Ask your question and make your statement.
No, I was just saying, I thought everybody agreed with all the discrepancies. I mean, that's kind of obvious.
Sure, but there's often people will start wandering into the forest of discrepancies and forget to appreciate that there's a generalized system that does function in a certain way. And once they're into the weeds, they fail to recognize that and will throw the baby out with the bathwater and start decrying principles that do function to a certain degree. Now, that's not to say, well, hold on, well, these journeys are too short in the north. Yeah, you can give me examples of that. But more often, you'll say these journeys are taking a lot longer in the south than the map would suggest. And you go, yeah. So it seems like the south is a lot more fudged than the north. Either way, that's the system that we've got. That's all we've got. I'm not a cartographer, but throughout all of them, this is the thing that keeps us sane. Regardless of their accuracy, we know there's distortions. They're projecting globes through PZX triangles onto cones and tubes and then cutting them black out to roll out flat, right? That's what they're doing. So we know there's distortions. But all of the processes start with flat Earth elevation angle measurements of these stars. And the GP positions do match. That's pattern recognition. People have been watching where the stars are going to be, allegedly, for thousands of years. And in terms of what you can prove and show with primary source evidence, that is most assuredly the case. So having good pattern recognition of the stars is not something that's new to anybody. And the pieces of land that are below those stars at those times has been figured out for a very, very, very long time. Now, that's not to say that we haven't expanded out our territory and then start to fudge those systems after the fact, because a lot of the territories aren't acutely aware to us till, 200 or 300 years ago. Well, when you get to those lands being incorporated into a spherical system that measured Earth flat, the only bit I concern myself with is the measured Earth flat bit, because that's where it all begins. You start saying, well, why doesn't this do that in the sky? Oh, there was a guy in the chat earlier, I meant to mention him, that said, why don't we see Polaris beyond the equator? Which is such a beautifully, stupidly nonsensical question when you break it down. Because the equator is derived from the minimum angle you can see Polaris with. So you create a system, let's oversimplify it and just call that system the equator, by measuring a star, drop towards the horizon until you can't see it anymore. That creates this circle around that star, and we call it the equator. Once you've got that system in place, you turn around to next man and go, why can't you see this star beyond this circle then? You're like, what, the circle you just created by backing away from it till you couldn't see it anymore? You're saying, why can't I still see it after I can't see it? That's basically what you're being asked. Because we're developing these systems, like the equator, from measuring a flat Earth and angles to stars. That's where it all begins. Name of my book. Great plug for the 122 people watching. All roads lead to a flat Earth. Thank you for ruining the plug.
I am so sorry. I was about to say it's like holding up a chihuahua as proof that dogs don't exist. Fuck.
It's all right. It's a good example. It is like holding up a chihuahua and saying dogs don't exist. Why can't you see past the equator?
Just joined. Are you a flat earther yourself?
You can call me that if you like.
Oh, okay, gotcha. I couldn't tell if you were arguing for it or against it. No, you sound very articulate, so I was locked in.
I see. Were you presumably a globe believer?
I would classify myself as unaffiliated. I've done a lot of research, and to the point where it's just like, God, I don't give a fuck anymore. Who cares if it's flat around?
Please don't swear.
But one of the most weirdest takes I've seen is crepuscular rays, and how they could be very different in terms of a flat Earth, because NASA's claim is that when the sun comes down and then disperses through the clouds and then kind of goes out kind of like a cone shape or a pyramid, it wouldn't really make much sense if it was 93 miles away for it to come down almost directly and then expand like a cone. It would make more sense if it were directly above. So I do understand that point, but there are just a lot of like empty spaces, and I've seen way too many videos of flat earthers prove themselves wrong. At this point where it's like, it's just hard to argue.
You really sound unaffiliated, as you say.
Right, but hold on a second. You say you're not affiliated, but you just use the words down and above. Do you know what those words mean?
Let me know.
Down is on a vertical axis with respect to a horizontal plane of reference, and above is above the plane of reference. It's in a upwards direction with respect to the horizontal. How do you reconcile that with the belief that you're on a globe?
Sorry, what did you ask?
Right. The words you're using and the descriptions you're giving are of a flat plane. Above, down.
Yeah.
Those words are with respect to a flat plane.
Yes, I was giving a perspective that I read about crepuscular rays and how that might be evident to a flat Earth. Like that, I was just giving a claim that I did here.
Sure. He's pointing out that all of the descriptions therein required a flat plane, though.
Like it just doesn't make much sense. And I mean, the science they quote unquote made for it. Like it just, the explanation's just like, okay, like it's like when someone doesn't understand quantum theory, so they just like give you one of like the principles, and they're just like, oh, I'm done. There it is. Like that's just kind of how it felt when I read through it. It did not make much sense.
Pardon me. Are you talking about a flat earther's explanation for crepuscular rays?
No. Explanation of crepuscular rays did not make sense to me. So that's why thank you. Okay, I have really bad pronunciation issues, so thank you for correcting me.
Yeah, across the board.
Here, check the chat. Somebody actually posted a demonstration in there. That's what I'm talking about.
So your contention is that... hold on, just one sec, John. Your contention is that NASA's assertion that the sun is 93 million miles away doesn't stack up with your observation of crepuscular rays, correct?
Sure. Yeah.
Okay. Just before we go on then. Okay, so please don't nod along while I'm talking. If you could just mute while I'm going to give you an explanation of part of your...
Oh, no, yeah.
So 93 million miles distance is derived from measuring Earth flat also. So you have to derive a radial value calculable with Polaris, the minimum elevation angle, giving you your equatorial plane with a radial value that can turn to a spherical value to put in motion around the sun to derive an orbit. You can then take Keplerian elliptical orbits and Huygens' assumption that Venus has the same derived measured flat radius value of Earth to suggest scale. So you take Kepler, Huygens, and Copernicus in their mathematics that take flat Earth elevation angle measurements to stars to derive sphericity from flat plane measurements to put the Earth in orbit, to scale those maths with an assumption that a light called Venus has the same spherical R value as Earth, to give you 93 million miles, to suggest that that could be comparable to whatever version of a sun over a flat Earth that you want to give in full dichotomy. Meanwhile, that system requires Earth to be measured flat to suggest it's an alternative explanation. I know that's a lot to take in, but I'm done.
No, that definitely is a lot to take in, especially somebody who hasn't done extensive research. I'm sitting here and I'm like trying to like fully understand what you're saying. I understand like the grasp of what you're saying.
Okay.
I might be able to dumb it down a little bit for you.
Yeah. Break it down because just break it down for me.
Let's go to one that we all have heard, and that is Eratosthenes measuring the angle to the sun. Have you heard that story?
Yeah, like briefly, like a year or two ago. It's been a minute.
Okay, but you've heard it, right? And he measured the angle of the sun in Siam as opposed to the angle of the sun in another city. You understand that he measured two angles to the sun. That's what you heard as well, correct?
Yeah.
Those angles that are from the shadow is your baseline running across the earth, and from the tip of your shadow to the tip of your stick. That's an imaginary line, right?
Right.
But that's the angle, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. That's a flat earth you just measured to calculate sphericity.
You kind of cut out at the last bit.
Measurement.
Hold on, John. He's responding. Hold on.
Hello. You cut out a little bit at the end there, Nathan.
Yeah, you were talking through it. It's fine. He's put to you that there's Alexandria and Cyan, and a shadow being measured off a flat Earth calculates sphericity. He's just put that to you. I'm just repeating what he said.
Okay. No, yeah. I mean, all of that makes sense. Honestly, I just came in here to listen, but yeah, no, I don't know. I think that it's definitely comparative. I don't know. This shit's too much for my head at the moment, but
that's fine. Just see if we can just just one sec, John. Let's just see if we can just get agreement on what we've just explained to you. Do you understand that the stick and shadow and the angle measured requires a plane to be measured? Do you understand that bit?
No, I do understand that. That's why it's kind of like, that's why I'm more confused. So,
well, can you just affirm that bit? So you appreciate that you measure hopefully not while I'm saying it, ideally after I've finished. Can you just affirm by maybe using some of the words that have been used to put it to you that the shadow with respect to a flat Earth is what is measured by Eratosthenes?
Yeah, no, I mean, I can agree with that. So
Agree with what?
I agree that they're. Damn, how do I even say that?
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to seek from you. You know, you said you're struggling
Right.
to comprehend it. It's a bit much. So I'm saying, right, so
Right.
we've got a stick in the ground and a shadow on the ground, and we're measuring an
Yes.
angle. Please,
Yes.
you don't have to stutter the word yes through me explaining it for a third time. Try and stop saying yes and just open your ears while we dumb it down and slow down our timbre so you can hopefully comprehend it on the third attempt. So, stick. That was rhetorical. I'll try again. It's the fourth attempt. Stick in ground. Shadow on ground. Ground flat. 4 shadow, 4 angle. Still yammering through me. It'll be the 5th attempt. I'll start again. 5th attempt. 5th attempt.
I didn't interrupt you. Sorry, I don't know.
You're
I
still
didn't interrupt
doing
you.
it,
Sorry.
sir. That pause was to see if you would do it for a 6th time. You did. I just ask you, while I say this for a 7th time, can you mute while I say it? So then when you struggle to comprehend it after 7 times, everyone around can just sigh and slap their own head on your behalf. Okay? Stick in ground. Forming angle. Angle is straight line, earth flat, 4 angle. Do you understand? Please repeat some of it back so we know you know.
Yes, I understand what you were saying. You were saying that stick must be in ground, and if we're measuring for a flat plane, that would make more sense. It would just make more sense there if we're talking about. I'm sorry, I'm gonna say the word again. Secular rays.
No. Ground flat, 4 angle. Understand?
Round flat, 4 angle.
Yes.
Right. You're not measuring for flatness. You're using the flatness for your measurement. You understand the
Yes,
difference?
that's what I was trying to explain that I understood.
We were explaining it to you, son. Don't tell us what you're trying to explain. You're not explaining jack. Don't mistake yourself as the teacher. You're the student. Don't interrupt me. Student, shut up. Student, shut your mouth. Don't become belligerent because you've mistaken yourself for the teacher. You're not. What you're saying, like the last guy's irrelevant. We're telling you. Ground flat, 4 angle, measured by Eratosthenes. We're still not quite clear because you introduced conspicular rays again. No. Eratosthenes isn't measuring conspicular rays, or however the hell you say it.
Right, yeah, honestly.
Oh, ground flat. So ground.
I came in here.
Why are you telling us what you've come in for? I don't care. Yeah, we got what you came in for. We got it. Do you think while I'm getting you to comprehend this that you've told us you don't, that you need to tell us why you came in? We listened to you.
No, I know.
So don't tell me why you've come in. Tell me that you understand you must measure the ground as a flat plane for it to be an angle that Eratosthenes is measuring. It's the 8th attempt.
I understand that, and that was the most clearest way you could have explained it. Now I understand what you're saying. That makes a lot more sense.
Excellent. So could you paraphrase it back so I know that on the 8th attempt you definitely have got it this time? Just paraphrase it back to me then.
No, because I'd suck at doing that. I don't know how to like. Oh, hold on. It just said I was muted for a second.
It's fine. Comprehension doesn't come easy. I take 10 explanations of things, and I'm not being sarcastic or facetious. This, when explained to me, took 10 times from explaining to me, so I can empathize with you.
We must measure by a flat plane for it to be a curve. Like, is that what you're trying to say on a very simplistic level?
The word curve never crossed my lips, so what the hell do you think? Did the word curve come out of my mouth? No, it didn't. So why would you insert the word curve when I didn't say it? So you haven't comprehended. You're now talking through me while I essentially get to the point where I have to tell you off. No, wrong. So we'll try a 9th time. Okay? That's not your invitation to start talking when I'm suggesting I'm going to start repeating it for the 9th time. So close your mic, try and open your ears. I can see you line dancing while I'm attempting to start the 9th repetition of something you failed to comprehend the last 8 times. So no, the ground is being used for the angle measurement. And the angle measurement is what we are measuring. So the ground must be flat for it to be an angle measurement. Do you understand?
Yes, I'm just horrible at paraphrasing at 9:30 in the morning. Dude, I understand what you were saying. Can you just move on with your point? Like, I'm not paraphrasing that to you.
No, well, then I can't accept that you understand it. I'll just have to express to my audience that you just don't understand even after 9 attempts. If you can't paraphrase it back, then I can only surmise that you don't understand still.
Okay.
Just to find. Hold on a second. Number one, it's crepuscular rays.
Crepuscular.
I know. I told you.
CREPUSCULAR. Crepuscular for everyone out there. Number one. Number two, what he's trying to tell you is you can only acquire elevation angles off a horizontal plane, is what he's telling you. Because elevation angles are right angle triangles, and they all have a flat baseline or adjacent. That's all he's saying. Understand?
Understood.
That's it.
What do you understand?
I'll paraphrase.
I don't know how.
Right, shut up. Go ahead, paraphrase it.
You got me fucked up, dog.
Don't swear at me. Just try and comprehend it and rephrase it back to me. It's not that hard. Earth's flat for the angle. That's it.
Okay.
Earth flat for angle, too hard to say.
Earth flat for angle.
Yeah, welcome to Flat Earth. Earth is measured flat. That's correct. Yes,
Yeah, okay,
that's right. Earth is measured flat. That's right. So may I take this opportunity to welcome you to Flat Earth? That's correct. I am talking. You are not talking. You are being schooled, sir. It doesn't require that you chant through me as I welcome you to Flat Earth. That's right, sir. As you don't need to yammer through me. What is your malfunction? Yeah, it's 9:30 in the morning, but you're perfectly capable of talking while I'm talking. Yeah, it's 9:30 and difficult to understand stuff, but you can definitely talk while I'm talking. Yeah, I get it. Yeah. Dude, welcome. Dude, shut up. Don't call me dude. Don't swear at me. Shut your dumb mouth while I welcome you to Flat Earth. You finally, after 10 attempts, comprehended Earth flat for angle. Yes, it wasn't very complicated. We don't need to hear you talking through me while I welcome you, the ignorant, to Flat Earth. Precisely as you've now comprehended. Yeah, Earth flat for angle. That's right, sir. Welcome to Flat Earth. Oh my God, am I going to have to do this 10 times as well before your dumbass puts yourself on local mute before I finish this friggin' sentence? Carnivore, put yourself on mute, you belligerent little twat.
Well, bro,
Don't call me bro, put yourself on mute. So server operators have had to step in because this belligerent Dumbo can't shut his own mouth. Well done, dunce. Now I'm going to have to chastise you for being a dunce. Instead of just welcoming you to Flat Earth. Yeah, like you parroted back after 10 attempts. Yeah, that's right. Earth's measured flat, and you finally managed to say it back. It's been on screen for my live audience the whole time. Angle between Alexandria and Cyan on a flat plane, like you now comprehend. My God, it was like pulling teeth. Finally got to the end of the statement.
Yeah, I didn't get to make my actual point past that because there is another part, and that is if your calculation disagrees with measurement, your calculation is either wrong or misused.
Yeah, the calculation which we haven't focused on is the calculation that this flat Earth elevation angle measurement, alleged to be taking place by Eratosthenes, is then calculated into a sphere Earth radial value. But it violates the flat Earth measurement.
Right, and then we can get back to crepuscular rays, as Huey corrected. and say your 93 million mile away sun comes from these measurements. So no, it's not 93 million miles away. It's not some near infinite distance. It's just not true.
Shout out to Duncan McLeod, who says, dead as no cap, Gen Zers be whack. Dope. I don't know.
I was just gonna say.
That sounds
dope.
pretty skibbity to me.
I'm sorry. Did you say dags?
Now, this is all skibbity. Let's move on.
I like dag.
Exactly. Right, we've pretty much stayed to the maximum of our welcome here in Politics Discord server. Fantastic reception as always. Thank you very much, Politics, for having us.
You're welcome. You can stay as long as you want.
That came from my panel. That wasn't a Discord mod. They're all doing their silent thing. Hey,
You're acting like modding is like laying block. I mean, they're not tired.
Takes skill to do it properly. Being a good mod is a skill. I'm tired. Anyway, right, with that, I'm going to say a huge, massive, enormous thank you first and foremost to the Politics Discord server for being so hospitable, and of course, my G Plus panel for interrupting continually, but most of all to you for liking, commenting, sharing, subscribing, joining as a Nathan Oakley 1980 channel member, and all that good stuff. If you're watching this on either Nathan Oakley 1980 or Nathan Oakley premiering streams, stay tuned as there will be an after show to follow. Let's say if you're watching live, this is where we bid you farewell. So I've been Nathan Oakley, and I will see you all in the next video.